Yeah, Thomas, hi. Yeah, Bolton from Sky Sports News here. Hope you're well, are you?
Yeah, I'm well. We are in the middle of July. We're playing for something very special. What's not to like?
Can I begin by asking you about your team news? Is everyone okay after Wednesday? Do you have any concerns?
No, all ready to fight and play.
Okay. Look, after the result against Barnsley, you talked about it being painful, you talked about hurt, you talked about it being football at its most brutal. Are you still painful? Are you still hurting? Or is it all behind you?
It was painful and it hurt a lot Wednesday night. Slightly better feeling when I actually find out the sun actually rise again Thursday morning, so the lives continue. And after another good night's sleep, then we're ready to fight. There is only two options in life. You can sit down and cry when you think the world is unfair and everything's against you, or you can stand up and fight. That's the only two options you have. And of course we have chosen to stand up and fight, and we are ready. And I think a big thing, of course, in the moment, you know, some people try to be positive and all that. And I say, the way I am, we're all different. I just say, no, I just need to feel pain. Sorry, my language tonight, because it was so painful. But the day after, I know I'm positive. I know I look forward. I know I look at opportunities. And when we look back at this season, it's the best season in more than 70 years. It's the best season in championship. It's the best position. It's the most points. It's the most goals scored. It's the least goals conceded. I know. I don't know, but let me put it this way, there's a lot of people writing and saying that we're playing an attractive type of football. I think we play a fantastic type of football. We got an unbelievable, unique culture in this club. And if we praise and talk about togetherness, is in the tough times you need to show that, not when you're on top of your game. And we didn't lose anything Wednesday night. We need to remember, it's 46 games. Yes, the final one was decisive, but I could probably find a point or two more different places. And then I think, look at West Brom. They lost one and draw 3 games in the last 4. Look at Nottingham Forest. I think that's pretty painful as well. We got an unbelievable opportunity, and I promise you, we are ready for it.
So that would be understandable that you had to pick players up. And should that be difficult over the past few days?
No, but I think if it didn't hurt what happened Wednesday night, then there is no passion. Then we don't play for anything big, and we all know we do that. So, and I always say that if you want to build a top culture, I know I need to push it. My staff need to push it. All of us, we need to push that. Of course, the players need to push it as well. Top performance culture and a unique togetherness. And I say we can all, you know, push it, and especially the staff and me, we can push it up to 80, 85, maybe almost 90%. But the last 10 most important, that is within the players, that is in the dressing room, that is outside the pitch. And I told the leaders and I told the players. And I know that they did everything they could to talk to each other and pick each other up on the Thursday. And then we're ready to go, tomorrow.
You won 3-0 at Swansea back in October. You beat Swansea 3-1 at Griffin Park in East. How much encouragement do you take from those 2 results in particular as you go into beat Swansea over these big legs?
Of course, I mentioned that to the players. They know it themselves. Swansea know it. We know it. That we won these 2 games. And that should give us confidence going into the coming 2 games. We all know it'll be 2 different games with a different way to play it, because it's this 2-leg like competition, or say 2 games you need to play. It's 180 minutes plus extra time, plus maybe even no injury time, plus maybe extra time. So it's a slightly bit different, but we need to take the confidence with us the way we play in these games. We also need to understand that Swansea, they haven't changed their style. I really like their style and the way they do things. They like to dominate on the ball like us, but they changed their shape since we played them last time. And I think definitely since Corona now they play a 3-4-1-2. So that just changed small bits, but of course we're prepared for that.
What has to be the qualities need to see from your players if you're going to get them this successfully?
No, I think of course it's like if we look at the 9 games we played since the restart, I think we played 7 more or less at an unbelievable high level. We didn't hit the highest level against Stoke and Barnsley, but it was still decent level. And if you look through these games, it's just small margins that make it not tick our way to at least get a draw in both of them or win. Of course, we like to aim for the highest level in the first 7 games. And that is both on the ball in terms of being brave and find the right positions, and off the ball find that top structure and intensity in the way we press. But I think when we go into decisive games like this, it's a lot about a top mindset and play with a top intensity and bring the most energy. That's what we aim for.
Good night, Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. You're welcome.
Hey, Thomas.
Hi, Phil.
What were the exchanges like in the dressing room after Wednesday? You know, I know Pontus, for example, didn't leave the ground for quite a while, did he? Was there a lot of honesty with the players in their assessment of the last couple of games?
Yeah, I would say, of course, when we come in and walk off the pitch and you concede a late goal, and then there's a lot of there's a big target on the stake, and we didn't got it over the line. Of course, there's a lot of emotions, and for me, it's about to do everything to understand that people are different and people are emotional affected of it. So I did actually very little talking because I don't think that was the time to do it. And then said, rest tomorrow, make sure you get on top of this and be ready to meet in Friday. And then I went out to the press. But then, of course, I have a good coaching staff and they stayed around. And when I came back, a lot of players were still in the dressing room and having a good talk about this. And that's why I think this group is tough. So they stick together and know that we have a great opportunity that we need to go for. And I think that's the biggest thing we need to understand, that we have a top opportunity. And everybody said to us before the season, everyone, including all you guys, oh, Brentford top 6, that would be a fantastic result. Now we're not even making the top 6, we're fighting for top 2, which is remarkable. So we need to remind ourselves about this, and we're actually not the only team in the world of football that's on the last day maybe didn't win that game. I don't know how many teams tried that, or clubs. So we just need to move on. We have a chance more, and we're ready for it.
Yeah, you sort of mentioned this, but to not focus, not dwell on the last 2 games, but look at the other 44, especially in the run since returning from lockdown. You know, an amazing run to put yourself into a position where actually you could have been promoted on the last day. So, you know, to focus on those games rather than what happened at Stoke and what happened at home to Barnsley, just look at the processes that got you there in the first place.
That is the thing, and also that we keep reminding ourselves, because we put everything in and analyze everything out from a specific context or the in the moment context. And of course you need to do that, that's one thing, but there's so many other bits involved or affecting the way we analyze if it's in a specific context. Now everything is like a disaster. But look at the game, and I promise you, I watched both games back. And any other day we could have won or get a draw in both of them in maybe 60-70% of the time. So, and sometimes you can't explain. It's because we played a bad pass, or maybe he didn't run back, or maybe just missed that touch. It's football. So so we need to take the best out of what we've done, also from these two games, and then we are ready to go against Swansea.
And it's not been too often this season that neither Brian or Ollie or Saeed haven't scored in back-to-back games. So they're due goals, aren't they, in these two matches against Swansea?
yeah, they're ready, 100%. I think especially Saeed and Ollie have been top since the restart, just kept the high level. I think actually there is more to come from Brian, I'm 100% sure there will. He just got that little distracted start with the positive corona test, and he's also learning from every minute. But we need to remember that the last 7 games we played, where he played, I think he had 5 or 6 very good chances. So he's always coming to those chances. And when I watch all the other games back, there's a lot of games where I thought, could he have done a little bit better on the passing or controlled the ball or tiny bit. But the funny thing, or the interesting thing, is he's always getting to the chances, and he put one in the back of the net, and then you think, wow, he's a top player. So no, they're ready. They're ready to go again, and I think we all know the level of the BMW, and I'm 100% sure that the 3 other teams in the playoffs are very aware of their abilities.
And people talked about pressure, I think, didn't they, for ahead of the Stoke game and ahead of the Barnsley game. But these 2 games, both teams are under pressure. You know, it's not as if, you know, people can forget that Swansea will be just as much under pressure as Brentford, because it's, you know, it's a cup tie.
Oh, 100% agree. And the only thing I buy a bit is the Stoke that came so quick. What? We got this opportunity. And I think it's, you know, maybe it was 3 or 4 that was a tiny bit affected, because in life, the first time experience of playing a very important match is always, or not always, can influence you, and then you learn from that. And I didn't see any stress or nerve against Barnsley. I saw a very good Barnsley side that's pressing all over the pitch, fighting for their lives, making it very difficult for us. And the perception of Brentford, they just put teams to the side and they win 3-0. It's pretty difficult to do that every single time. We did that 8 out of 8, which is pretty good. For various reasons, we couldn't hit the same level, but you all saw the game probably, that we had more than enough chances to score that 2-1 goal. That would have been a different situation. So honestly, we are confident. We're going into this game with the big belief, the big drive, big determination, and we can't wait to play tomorrow.
And finally, for me, obviously the fans look at history, especially with the biggest in the playoffs. But that's in the past, isn't it? You know, no one is there that was involved, even going back to the Middlesbrough semi-final a few years ago under Mark Warburton. You know, that's a different group of players, it's a different set of coaching staff, everything's different. This is a new year, a new challenge.
100% agree. History is history. You know, so we can't do anything about the past. We don't know what will happen in the future, but we know what we can affect in the present. So that's what we can do something about. And what we should think is that we're going into the playoffs. And I personally think that now we are still the informed team. If you look at the last 9 games, look through the season, there's a reason why we came 3rd. And I'm confident that we are the better side of the 4 teams in the playoffs. Of course, we know it's football. We know everything can happen. And I told the players yesterday that we decide what kind of stories we want to listen to, what we want to read, and of course we have a big effect of what kind of stories we want to write. What kind of new chapter do we want to write in the story of Brentford? And I remember the last 2 playoffs I watched. Last year, everybody said that Leeds, they blew it up in the playoffs and they couldn't handle the pressure. As far as I remember, they won the first one away to Derby 1-0. Should have won 2 or 3-0. They're going 1-0 up in the second game. Then Derby equalized 1 minute before halftime. They scored 2-1 1 minute into the second half. So that's just goals that change momentum. That could be a coincidence, that could be everything. They go 3-1 up Derby, they scored the 3-2 leads. Even game 3-3, and then they get a red card and penalty done. So for me, you can't do that. Fulham 2 years ago, they won 27 games on a bounce or whatever, unbelievable unbeaten run. Last day of the season, if they won go directly promoted. They didn't. Cardiff went up. Then they went to the playoffs. They played the first game against Derby away. They lost 1-0. Second semi-final, won 2-0, won the final. So we decide. It's a game of football, and goals change momentum in football games. Also the mentality, not because too much about the pressure.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go back to Ian from TalkSport.
Alright, can you hear me now?
Yes, Ian.
Oh, hallelujah. It was in your own hands to go up this time last week. Are there any worries at all from you that the players have run out of steam?
Nope.
Okay, why?
Because you always have more energy or steam or power than you think. You always have one, no matter how tired you are, you always have one more sprint in you. Always. And of course we all work, we all react differently to different scenarios. And I always see it like this. I think a club in many ways is defined by the specific culture made over years, and I think that there's many persons who is defining that. It's not only the head coach, it's also a lot of the staff and the players. But I think it's still me that needs to stand in front of them and try to, energize them and this is the way we go. And what I try to say to them is that when something is not working for me, or is not, we're not succeeding, or we're getting a setback, or it's a little bit tough, I just get even more irritated and more determined, and I want to run even more. And I won't feel sorry for myself when I do my runs. I'm just thinking, come on Thomas, you can't feel sorry for yourself, because that's the wrong mentality. So I know I'm so much ready to fight and bounce back, and I know the players are too.
Do you have a specific speech, a really rousing speech for them, or is it just going to be the same message that you've been giving them the whole season, which has been, as you rightly say earlier, a magnificent season?
Nothing. Of course, I always try to tweak it a bit, or change small bits in the last speech before we in the tactical meetings or before we go on the pitch. But I'm sometimes actually in doubt what works. We all see these motivational videos and these big, especially the American coaches. I think they are so good to talk about emotions, and we all see this Al Pacino's. I can't remember the film. What is it? The Inches speech. Life is about inches, game inches, and all that, which is a fantastic one. And I would love if I could do that. I can't. I'm not that good. But sometimes I'm thinking, really, honestly, I'm thinking, how much is it actually helping? Because I've watched a lot of head coaches, and also the best, and I have a feeling they're very, very different. From Pep to Klopp to Mourinho to Sarri to the Italian Ancelotti. I think some of them are unbelievably emotional. Some of them are very cool. Come on, guys, let's go out and win. So there is not one way to do it. I think trust yourself and then go that way.
Is the first leg all about staying in the tie, or do you think you can go and actually win the whole tie in the first leg at Liberty Stadium?
I think it's very rare that I think in the history of the playoffs also that is done after the first one, because both teams will be so on it. So we will do nothing different. We will go out there, try to dominate and attack to see if we can win. So it's not like I'm going there for draw. or we are going there for a draw. The big message is, of course, no matter what happens, stay in the game. So we can't, you know, if you're down 1-0, I'm not going to put 7 attacking players on the pitch like I've done the last 2 games. I'll be a little bit, but we will still try to go back into the game and get a draw or something like that. So I think that's the biggest message, that it's 180 minutes plus injury time plus eventually extra time that will decide this semi-final.
A couple more. I spoke to Steve Cooper yesterday. I said to him that you and he are very similar. He was in charge of England's youth team and youth players coming through, plays a philosophy, and you were in charge of Denmark's youth players coming through and have a philosophy. Do you see that he said it was going to be a very technical game? Do you see it as being a very technical game?
Yeah, it could. I don't know if because of me and Cooper, but yeah, I can see that we have some similarities. Also, you can see the style of play is quite similar. I like the change he made to the team. I think it benefits of that. It looked more solid and stronger. Yeah, and I like also, of course, when you have that history, I like that when you're a youth coach, you can go into senior management and people can see it's actually not that different. You know, in youth football, they're also playing 11 versus 11, and they also have tactical bits. Yeah, I like that.
And the last one, you spoke a little bit earlier about pressure. There's no great pressure, I think, on Brentford to go up because they've never done it before. But is the pressure on you and your team the fact that if you don't go up, the vultures from the Premier League will start circling and want your better players, the likes of Ben Rama, the likes of Watkins, Pinnock, De Silva, and the team might not be able to stay together? Is that the pressure you're playing under?
That's definitely a pressure we don't feel anything about. My 100%, I'm so convinced that this group of players, they'll just absolutely love to fight and do everything they can to go to the Premier Brentford. And if there's one team they want to decide to play for in Premier League, it's Brentford. If it doesn't happen, ask me about it if it doesn't happen.
I will do. Listen, best of luck.
Thank you.